Today's episode is brought to you by In My Bag Apparel and Customs. In My Bag is a brand that collaborates with talented artists from across the country to bring some unique and exclusive concepts to life at a reasonable price. For $15 off your first purchase, visit whatnot.com/invite/inmy_bag 2023. That's whatnot.com/invite/inmy_bag 2023 for $15 off your first purchase. And make sure to check them out on Instagram as well at inmy_bag 2023. Did you know that the oldest cat lived to be 38 years old and its name was Cream Puff? Let's get into it. All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Podcast. I am Prescott Kelly. Today is Tuesday, March 18th. Glad to have you back with us. Hope you guys had a great St. Patty's Day, whether you celebrate on Sunday or you went out Monday like a bunch of Neanderthals that you are. Regardless of how you did it, I hope you had a great time and you stayed safe. Before we get too far into the episode, just real quick, there is something that I know I've kind of thrown out here a couple different times already today, but we do have some new sponsors, and I kind of went through them a little bit earlier on in the just kind of playing around through the Playbook Podcast Facebook page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop those into the live stream now, as far as the actual website that was created for me. I was reached out by another company, and they gave me the opportunity for some stuff. We're not even some stuff. It's more of just a opportunities that was not presented me beforehand. It's not anything that's based on CPMs. And if anybody knows anything about the CPM, is basically a paid for every 1,000 downloads. Basically, they pay you a percentage. This doesn't work that way. This is strictly based on if you purchase anything or if anybody else does, then your boy gets a cut. We did reach out to 12 different companies. We got 5 that responded. So what's in there right now, if you are watching, there is a link to the actual Playbook Podcast website up in the upper right-hand corner. You can do everything. There's 5 different businesses that are associated with me right now. There's the Hero Care package, which you can send thank you notes and gift baskets, either personalized or custom, or either you customize them, where they got pre-made ones for soldiers overseas and over here in the States. That's one of them. That's a 10% discount, anything that you get. Kate Waltman Jewelry, 20% off if there's a woman in your life, whether it's Mother's Day is around the corner, if you got an anniversary or a birthday, you're at the doghouse. Kate William Jewelry is on there too, or Kate Waltman, excuse me. Cozy Earth is more of bamboo, high-end kind of bed and bedwear, men and women alike. There's 41% off on that, though. They're a little bit more expensive, but the quality looks dope as hell. So if you go in there, you'll see more of a discount. Again, so these things aren't limited to a certain time. As long as you use promo code PSCOTT, PSCOTT, all in caps, you're eligible for all those. Stand Plus is a shoe company. They look like these these Yeezys that some folks love, some people hate, but it's 15% off on that. And then Shimmerwood Beverages, which is a CBD seltzer company, and they got all kinds of flavors. I haven't tried any of these things yet, so I don't know how they work, how great they are. But if you're in the market for those types of things, use promo code PSCOTT, PSCOTT, all in caps, to get 10, 20, 41, 15, or 30% off your stuff. So here we are. That's enough self-absorption and me being plugging stuff. But, I'm excited about having at least that opportunity. So tell your friends, hide your kids, hide your wives, and get a good deal on some nice stuff. Now let's get into the actual talking points at hand. So I know that March Madness is around the corner. We had these play-in games. I'm not sure if anybody even really watched them. I don't know who was even a part of it. I don't even watch college hoops, which sounds really bad because, if this is a sports podcast, you want to be real rounded. I'd like to be, but I can't know everything about everything. Did I do a bracket? You're damn right I did. I picked Florida. to win it all. And that's the thing, man. I want to be the person who I always have had a problem with people who do like 9 or 10 different tournaments. And then when they get one right, they're like, oh, I had him. I had him in another tournament. No, man. I recognize myself and realize that I'm somebody who just I'm gonna do one tournament. If I got it right, I got it right. Don't tell me that you got it right in your league that had, or if you did 10 different tournaments. That's not impressive. You can get anything right with 10 different chances. So yes, I did a bracket, but no, it doesn't matter. Nobody really cares. Um, but getting into the NFL, because for me, as somebody who doesn't really watch a lot of college hoops, football it's what runs this country. It's the content machine. So I'm gonna do my very, very, very early division winners. And I don't like not much has really changed when you really think about it because if you really dumb football down to the lowest common denominator, what do we think really wins? Coaching and quarterbacks. So in the AFC East, I know that I get labeled a bad Bills fan, but let's be serious for a moment. As long as you still have Josh Allen, you're probably going to win that division. Now, I had Miami winning the division 2 years ago or the year before him because I was really excited to see like a new version of Tua. It must have been last year. Um, but Buffalo's lost enough pieces, and the Von Miller loss is not a loss to me. I need to make that very clear. But Bosa to replace him is a nice move, but the secondary is not the same secondary that it has been. Apparently, Buffalo is also basically rescinding the last year or so of Matt Milano's contract, so he's eligible to be a complete free agent as of the end of this upcoming season. So that doesn't really have anything to do as far as the bearing of how good the Bills will be this year, but it is something to kind of keep in the back of your mind because these guys are professional athletes and they do have, they have their own ego. Oh, you don't want me here because I'm getting old? All right, man. I did everything I could for you. Like I think it's a perfectly natural thing to feel as an athlete. So maybe you don't get the best version of him. To kind of cross pollinate, which we do sometimes, kind of the same thing with Luka. And that was a thing that I've defended. I mean, I've tried to when it comes to Dallas of them getting rid of Luka was, man, he was hurt, but he wasn't hurt. He was overweight, but he wasn't overweight. Like there was always this kind of this back and forth of how are you going to get rid of him? And but like it just felt like you were never going to get the best version of him anyways, because it felt like even though he said all the right things, that he didn't really want to be there. And it feels like now Buffalo's kind of doing that with Matt Milano to a degree of you're getting up there in age, man. So we're going to get rid of one of the years in your contract. I mean, it's a cutthroat league, man. It's just sports in general is. So again, I know that doesn't really affect this year per se when it comes to Buffalo, but in the AFC East, I mean, do you really trust the Jets? At this point in time, their quarterback is Justin Fields. I mean, if he's going to be your starter, paying $20 million a year is about the best thing that you could do. I mean, it just as far as the going rate for a starting quarterback, 20 mil, that's an absolute steal. But it feels like every year we try to talk ourselves into the Jets and them being good, especially towards the end of the year. We've done it with, well, not so much the Mark Sanchez years because they were actually legitimately good, right? They went to back-to-back AFC championship games. But post that, we have been trying to kind of talk ourselves into if they win 2 or 3 games in the last month and a half to 2 months of the season. It's like, oh, well, Sam Darnold's figured it out. No, he didn't. Zach Wilson's figured it out. No, he didn't. Aaron Rodgers figured it out in that system, in that city. No, he hasn't. Until they prove to me otherwise, the Jets are still the Jets. So even the Patriots still got a ways to go. The Dolphins are really the only one to me that I'm a little bit concerned about. But the AFC East, it's still the Bills until Josh Allen essentially dies. I don't see how they could potentially even lose that division. I don't want to be so, laissez-faire about it, but it does feel like it is something where until number 17, white and blue and red, isn't there anymore, that's going to be their division, at least their division. I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but if we're talking about division winners, that's it for Buffalo. Even if we move over to the end or to the AFC, Let's go AFC North. That still feels like it's a Baltimore division. And it's not necessarily the addition of DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I do think that Hopkins is going to play better in Baltimore than he did in Houston, or not Houston, his last stint in Kansas City, mostly because there's a real dominant run game, and then you still have Lamar as part of it. And there's a lot of improvisation when it comes to Baltimore, what they do, and how DeAndre kind of plays, if you will. So I'm not going to do a blanket statement of like, now I feel that DeAndre Hopkins puts the Baltimore Ravens as a Super Bowl front runner, but I mean, they're obviously going to be in the mark for it. And of course, it's weird. I hope my audio is coming through okay, because my video stream is looking like crap right now, that's a me problem, not anybody else problem, I don't believe. But as far as the division itself, the AFC North is still going to be running through Baltimore, I believe. No, this is bugging the hell out of me. We might try it again in a second.